There isn't a person in this room who doesn't understand probabilities. It's being able to function from a probabilistic perspective. There can be a huge reality gap between, let's say, our understanding of what it means, of what probabilities mean. Like, I'm saying, hey, our pattern gives us an edge, over a series of trades, over a series of 10 trades, 7 are going to be winners, 3 are going to be losers. The problem is we don't know which ones are going to win and which ones are going to lose. So if I'm going to actually extract the profit potential in that edge, it requires that I be able to take every single trade in the series or the sequence without making errors. Makes sense, right? Okay, understanding that and believing it at the core of your personality so that you can actually do it are two completely different things.
Come on, y'all. This right here, what Mark Douglas is talking about, is powerful. And this is what he talks about in Trading in the Zone, the famous book that he wrote. So we all understand what we're doing. We all can talk the trading lingo, the trading talk, and all of that stuff. But when it comes down to, does what we say out of our mouth, does the things that we know about trading, is there really a core belief inside of us that actually believes those things? And so that's what it boils down to when we ask the question, like, man, like, I know my strategy works. I back tested it. I know it works. I know what to do. But I just can't seem to just be profitable. I just can't seem to keep doing it. It boils down to what he's saying right now. Now, right now, he's specifically talking about probabilities. And this is the root of it all. Because what we do is we have a strategy, we have edge in the market, and we expect every single time everything lines up, we think it's going to go. And maybe the stop loss gets hit the first time. Maybe stop loss gets hit the first time. It gets hit the first time. And then in our mind, we're like, okay, that's cool. That's cool. But then when that next one gets hit, now our confidence and belief system is starting to get shaken. And then we mess around and take that third trade. We end up doing something slightly different than what we're supposed to do. And that's boom, when we make a trading error. So what Mark Douglas is saying is that probabilities and understanding the core belief of probabilities, it goes beyond a knowledge and head knowledge or just saying it, or I know it type thing. It has to be rooted deep inside of our belief system that, listen, my job as a trader is to show up, trade the edge as is in the trading plan, no errors, and then if it's going to go my way or if it's going to hit my stop loss, let that play out. And I can't just know to do that. It has to be a part of who I am. It literally has to be an unconscious decision that my body is simply in alignment with. That's what he's saying. And that's where we all fall short. All of us fall short there. That's what separates the person that can get the consistent payouts, the $1 million payouts, and the ones that we make some money, we lose it. We never get a payout, right? We pass the challenge, we go into the funded phase, but we never get a payout. Or if we do get a payout, we blow the account the next time. Because for some reason, we have a problem with accepting at the core of all of us what probability really means. And that's why I wanted to share this. Let's keep listening to the GOAT.
We can say we can think of ourselves as a probabilistic thinker. Say, yeah, oh yeah, I get it, I understand it. But if you can't execute all 10 trades flawlessly, then I can guarantee you, you can't function at a probabilistic perspective. Because when you can, you will be able to lose without thinking you're a loser. You will be able to be wrong without thinking there's anything wrong with you.
How many of us lose? And I promise you, the very next thought is, man, what's wrong with me? Why does everybody else get it, but not me? Why is everybody else winning, but not me? Why is everybody else getting funded, but not me? How many of us, the second we hit consistent roadblocks, which are losses as traders, but they're really just little roadblocks or little detours, we go into self-doubt that way. That's what Mark does. The GOAT is literally saying it right now, y'all. I'm excited.
Because that's in essence where we're going. This is what makes trading so hard. We live in a society that's completely obsessed with winning is everything. Avoid losses at all costs. Winning is everything. Avoid losses at all costs. These are very powerful belief systems. You think they're just going to go away and not assert themselves on what you do and how you behave just because you have this understanding in probabilities? Just because you might read a book or go to a conference and say, hey, you know what? This is a probabilistic environment that we're dealing in, and you got to think in odds. Oh, yeah, that makes sense. I can see that. Try doing it. Because what you do is going to be a function of what you believe. And if you can't do it, it means that there are conflicting beliefs that say that, you know what? No, this is not right. I think my analysis should tell me what's going on. And even though at a conscious level you're thinking, no, that's not what this is all about, it doesn't mean that that energy isn't asserting itself on how you behave. Otherwise you wouldn't be afraid.
He cooking, y'all. He cooking.
You were at the casinos last night. How is it that if we lose, it taps us into, we have a losing experience. It can tap us into all the accumulated negative energy, like I put yesterday, of what it means to lose in our life. Losing has a potential to tap us into all this negative emotional energy. I don't want to feel that way. Most people with, let's say, a normal psychological makeup also don't want to feel that way. We will avoid this at all costs. I don't like the feeling of what it means to be wrong, all the negative energy. Brings up all the times we're berated as kids, someone ridiculing us, teachers, coaches, whatever. So if my trading experiences have the potential to tap me in to these two belief systems or these memories, the memories of what it means to lose and what it means to be wrong, well, you know what? I've got big problems, because you know what? If I can't lose and I can't be wrong without it resonating, negative emotional energy, there's only one other way that I can think of to help me avoid tapping into all this, and this through analysis.
Yeah. This is it, y'all. This is it. This is why we always looking to change strategies. This is why we always looking to, man, it must be something I'm not getting. Man, it must be something I'm doing wrong. That's why we go down these rabbit holes. The GOAT, Mark Douglas, is laying it all out right here. Because there has to always be a reason why. It always has to be a reason why I lost, why I'm feeling this way. And we're literally trying to cope with that feeling of hurt, that feeling of I was wrong, with trying to get the explanation as to why. So let me go do more analysis, or let me go trade ICT, or let me go be supply and demand, or let me go here and let me go there. And like, bro, he's giving us the key to why the majority fail right here. Literally not understanding the probability mindset. And not like, excuse me, you can understand it, but not having probabilities as a core belief system. Because you can understand it, as he's saying, but it's not a core belief system. Sheesh.
So in one sense, we're going to say, well, I'm a trader, which means I'm a risk taker. But the reality is we're using analysis to do everything to avoid tapping into the memories of losing and the memories of what it means to be wrong. And it doesn't work. What we're trying to tell you is this doesn't work. because there isn't any analytical regimen or system that you can come up with that will guarantee that the next trade is going to work. What technical analysis does is it defines patterns. In other words, when we got the order flow, we got buys coming into the exchange, we got a flow of sells coming into the exchange. When there's an imbalance between the buys and the sells and there's no buys, the price has to tick up. When there's an imbalance between the sells in relationship to the buys, the price has to tick down. As these price up and down, as the price ticks up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down, it creates what we call collective behavior patterns. I say collective because everyone who submits an order to the exchange contributes to the pattern. And what we found is that not only can these patterns be identified, quantified, but they repeat themselves with statistical reliability over and over and over again in every time frame. You guys with me on this? Where's the problem? What? Go ahead, Tony. Oh, well, yeah, no. The problem is the patterns repeat themselves over and over again with statistical reliability. The outcomes that the patterns are predicting are random. I want you to get this. This is big. Okay? The patterns repeat themselves with statistical reliability, but the outcome that the pattern is predicting is random in relationship to the previous outcomes. There's a completely random distribution between wins and losses over a series of edges, or the criteria that define your edges.
So what he's basically saying is that if you take 10 trades, okay, and you have a 70% win rate, which means out of 10 trades, you win 7 of those 10 trades. You don't know if the first 7 are going to win and then you lose the last 3. You don't know if the first 3 are going to be losers and then you win the last 7. You don't know if you're going to win the first one, lose 2, win the 4th, lose the 5th, and then win the rest. You don't know the sequence in which those losses are going to come or the winners. Our job is just to show up and keep trading. But it's a random distribution of wins and losses per every setup, per every strategy, per every edge in the market. It's a random. You may know your hit rate, your expectancy, but you don't know in which order the winners or the losers are going to come in. And what he's basically saying and teaching right now is that we mess ourselves up because every time we lose, it takes us to the mental and emotional place of every other time we've lost in life and every other time we failed and we got it wrong. And what he's saying is that in our core belief system, when it comes to trading, we got to let go of that. And we got to just realize that, yes, I lost. That's a part of what's supposed to happen. Because I just know that I win 7 out of 10 times, but I don't know which one, if trade 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, I don't know. Like, I can't tell you that trade 1's going to be a winner or a loser. I can't tell you that trade 5's going to be a winner or a loser. I just know out of those 10, 7 of them should win. And guess what? This month, it may change. Maybe 6 of them win and 4 of them lose. I don't know. But I just got to show up and execute this approach that I've put my time and energy into, or that I've paid this mentor for. I just got to show up and do it. And that's what he's saying. The experts don't make errors. The trading, the people that win at trading, they don't make errors. Anybody that is really trading and making money, and there's so many people out there that have verified prop firm payouts, these people, these women and these men, they do not make trading errors. They lose trades, but they don't make errors. And they're okay. But what we do, and I can say we because I too I'm still working on this. Every time we lose, it's the equivalent literally of like, I used to be a levels boy, so I'm always use these examples, right? Growing up, I used to talk to a girl, and for one reason or another, she decided to ghost me. She don't want to talk to me no more. She don't want to talk to your boy Calvin no more. All right. What do I do when that happens? I immediately start thinking of another time in the past where I got passed over, or somebody else got the girl that I wanted to talk to, or I immediately start thinking about the last failed relationship that didn't go right. I immediately start self-pitying myself, or I immediately start thinking, man, I ain't gonna sweat her. There's somebody better out there. That's a natural thing that we do. And so what Mark Douglas is saying is like, nah, bruh. Calvin, you can't do that. We can't do that. Either one of those approaches is wrong when it comes to trading. No, you cannot. I ain't worrying about that trading strategy, man. I'm going to go find something else that works. You can't do that in trading. And then you can't also, when you lose, start thinking about, man, same thing, man, this junk keep happening. The same trade from last week did the same thing. We can't think that way. That's what he's teaching right now. We cannot think that way. We got to just keep it moving. Oh, okay, that trade's done. On to the next one. We'll be back again tomorrow. On to the next setup. Let's keep listening.
Exactly. That's right. That's how casinos make money. They're gambling on each individual. They know that's a gamble. Each individual outcome is unpredictable and unknowable. But over a series of events, the law of probabilities will work its magic. And they don't need to worry about the outcome to each individual event. So now you tell me, nobody likes tapping into the pain. No one likes tapping into the pain. And yet walk into the casino and watch people sit in front of a slot machine for hours and pump money into that machine knowing they're going to lose. Not only knowing they're going to lose, experience losing. And why is it that they're not experiencing emotional pain? They are losing. Why aren't they experiencing emotional pain? Well, it's one at a time. Somebody raise their hand. Whatever. Go ahead. Yeah, no, let's put it this way. You say they're expecting the next one. They don't know if the next one's going to be a winner. The next one may be a winner, and the whole idea of it being fun is because they're going to be surprised if it is. But the point is, they are expecting wins and losses. As a matter of fact, if you watch somebody play slots or you experience playing slots, you know that you're going to lose more times than you win. And as long as you accept the risk, meaning, and how do you know you accept the risk? Your behavior will tell you accept the risk because you don't have any problems putting the money in the machine. See, if you couldn't accept the risk, then you would find it difficult to actually put the money in the machine. Gambling forces us to accept the risk in advance because if we don't, we can't play. Wow. You can't sit down at a blackjack table and just decide to play and without putting your money out there first. They won't let you. But the illusion that analysis creates with trading is that I can actually get into a trade and believe that I'm not taking any risk.
Yeah.
And if the market happens to go in my favor immediately without giving any heat, it gives me, it reinforces the idea that yes, I can do this without risk. I can do this without risk. I don't have to experience this if I just find the right method.
Tell me that ain't true, y'all. Tell me that ain't true. Like, how many of us think when we buy a prop challenge, we immediately thinking like, I know what I can afford, but it's like, bro, with this strategy and what I've been back testing, I know I ain't gonna lose. I know I'm finna win. So we go buy the prop challenge or go buy mini prop challenges that's pushing our budget a little bit, but we throw it on credit card, knowing like, bruh, realistically, this ain't a good idea. But because we've been back testing, but because we think, nah, my strategy fine. Nah, I know I'm gonna pass. I know I'm gonna get funded. I know I'm gonna get the payout. We just do it. That's the story of so many traders. Traders, 50,000, 100K invested in challenges because they don't see the risk. As he's saying right now, they're in their mind. They're like, bro, my strategy worked. Bro, I follow such and such. I follow that person. This person made that amount of money. The strategy works. The approach works. I can't lose. Man, Mark Douglas is the GOAT, man.
That method doesn't exist. Get it in your brain. It doesn't exist. If I had a method that produced 99% winning trades, I guarantee you, if you're risk adverse and you haven't accepted the risk, you will not make consistent money. You'll always be worried about that one time. That's why, like you take a trader who, has, 9 out of 10 winning trades, maybe 4 or 5 or 6 or 7 in a row, and you're talking to other traders at conferences and chat rooms, and they'll tell you about all these winning trades that they had. They didn't tell you that the 10th trade, they lost all their winnings on the first 9 and more. They didn't tell you that. Yeah, 9 out of 10, 9 out of 10, yeah. And did they have to lose all their winnings from the previous 9 trades? Did it put a stop in? No. Did it define the risk in advance? No. And why didn't they define the risk in advance? Why did they not put a stop in the market? Because they thought they had a guaranteed win. It's that simple.
That's it, y'all. That's it. Yo, man. Oh, my goodness. That was so powerful. So powerful. Like, Jesus Christ, that was so powerful. That's it, y'all. If we could accept that and work on that every day, replaying this video, writing down that mindset, probabilities, accept the risk. I don't know which trades will win or which trades will lose. Losing does not mean I am not a profitable trader. Losing does not mean that I'm not a trader. Losing does not mean I'm a failure. It's a part of the business. Keep trading. Don't over leverage. It doesn't matter if this is my A+ setup. Manage risk the right way. Keep it consistent. Man, let me know in the comment section what y'all think about that. How can you apply what Mark Douglas just said to your journey? Any nuggets that hit home for you, drop that in the comment section as well.